Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Wesleyan, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Wesleyan.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I am Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here. My kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to BillHardenMusic.com.
And welcome in on a Thursday night as we are back with you live. Another Gridiron Gab. We are live here at Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road here in Macon. I am Russell Deese. This is Charles Crowley donning the Alabama gear. And it's a week to look back on the football season as we wound up the regular season with the SEC championship game in Atlanta on Saturday night. The Dogs led all night. Jalen Hurts comes off the bench, leads Alabama back to a 35-28 victory, the same as last year in the national championship game. And if you're a Georgia fan, it's a rough pill to swallow. If you're an Alabama fan, it's
yeah, they actually, made Alabama look mortal.
Well, they did make Alabama look loyal. Make Alabama look.
I won't use no more big words.
Normal, as you say, or vulnerable. If you look back at this game and you look at the passing stats, Tua was 10 of 25 for 164 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Jake Fromm, 25 of 39, 301 yards, 3 touchdowns. Alabama did not have a player go over 100 yards. They had 5 backs, including 3 backs, including Hurts and Tua Galova rushed. He was minus 21. I don't know how much better Georgia can play against Alabama and still not win football games. But I tell you what, this is 2 years in a row that Alabama has outscored them 28-7.
Yeah. I mean, if you would have took that game and you would have took all the scoring, plays out of it, and you'd have just watched all the plays where they, all the other plays, you'd have swore up and down Georgia beat the crap out of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you look at the receiving stats, nobody had over 100 yards receiving in the game. Alabama had one rusher that rushed for 83 yards, and that was Jacobs. He did have 2 touchdowns, one of them the long 59-yard run. DeAndre Swift, the only running back for Georgia to score a touchdown. We said Georgia would have to go north of 150 yards rushing in this game. They went for, 8, 12, 20, 80, 155.
Yeah, but their defense stepped up and played well. And at one point, there was Alabama's wide receivers had 6 drops.
Yeah, and then
they were horrible drops.
Tua Tagovailoa also threw 2 interceptions in the game.
Yeah, he will.
Opening the game with an interception into the end zone, which he threw for double coverage. He looked more human and more pedestrian in this game than he has his entire career.
Exactly. One of the things he was doing, some people would say, well, the offensive line was playing bad. They weren't. He was just holding the ball too long. It was like he was trying to get a big play every time he dropped back. And you can't do that. You got to take what the defense gives you.
Well, basically, Alabama rushed for 175 yards. Now, you take the 21 yards and losses off from Tuigalova, and they're under 150. Georgia does rush for 150. Fromm was -2 in his rushing stats, so that they were even as far as that went. Total passing yards, Alabama 246 yards, Georgia 301. Of course, the big controversial play is, without a doubt, the 4th down and 11 at midfield to go with the fake punt. And to this day, Georgia fans everywhere are scratching their heads about how this was allowed to happen.
Well, this is my point on that. Okay, you call the fake punt, right? Well, when Alabama comes out and they basically line up, expecting it, why do you not call timeout at that point and you either put your offense back on the field and just go for the yardage or punt the ball?
Well, and the other thing about the decision by Kirby Smart, and I've heard Smart explain it. We didn't snap the ball quick enough. You bring Justin Fields out there on the field. The one thing that you noticed on that play is Alabama did not bring in their punt defense.
No, exactly.
They stayed in their regular 3rd down defense. They knew what the play was coming.
Exactly.
They were ready for it.
So if you're the coach at that point, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you made the wrong. But it was blatantly Alabama was waiting on it. Why did you not call timeout and either send your offense back on the field
exactly.
and run a play and try to get the 1st down, or send your punt unit out there and punt the ball?
Well, I mean, you can say this over and over again. If he's successful on the fake punt, the game is over probably at that point, and Kirby Smart looks like a genius. However, his excuse was that we didn't get the snap off quick enough. Well, Coach, I can assure you, you had 37 assistant coaches yelling at you, get out of it, get out of it.
If he gets the snap off quicker, I don't see where it makes any difference. They're in a defense. They're prepared to stop any, fake.
Well, I don't know if they're prepared to stop any fake, but if you let them look at it long enough with their personnel, they were going to figure it out.
But they didn't even come up like they were going to try to block a punt. They went out on the field like that.
No. I know they were prepared for the fake punt, but I'm not for sure if they don't snap it quicker, could it have been successful. But they, like I said,
not for 11 yards.
We don't know that. I mean, you'll never know that. If he goes on a quick count as soon as he gets on the field, maybe Alabama's ready, maybe they're not. They had the defense on the field to protect for it. But the overriding question is here: why, Kirby, don't you get out of it?
Exactly.
I mean, you see you've got a delayed snap. You've got your freshman in there. everybody knows at this point it is going to be a fake. If you can't get the playoff as quickly, I mean, he knows when he sends Fields out there on the field, Alabama immediately is going to be looking for a fake punt, right? Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, you know, he wasn't trying to fool them with that aspect of it. I mean, he did dictate to them they were going to go for it. But at that point, you've got to have your assistant coaches tell you, coach, to get out, get out, get out. Here's the other thing. If he punts that ball, he punts Alabama maybe down inside the 20, maybe inside the 15, maybe inside the 10, maybe inside the 5. If he kicks it in the end zone, they got to start at the 20. It's a hell of a lot harder at this point in the football game
to go 80 than 40.
To go 80 than 47, 46 yards.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of people have not talked about this, but the missed field goal by Rodrigo, it's 28-14 at that point. If he hits that, it's 31-14.
That might make Alabama call, you know, some plays a little bit differently, but in the end, that missed field goal wouldn't have had a effect on what the ending score was. But you can't never tell, you know.
Well, like I said, Alabama goes on, and then we look at the college football playoffs. Alabama gets in with a 35-28 victory over Georgia. It was the largest crowd ever to see an SEC championship game, I believe. 83,000 back in '92 when Alabama played Florida at Legion Field in Birmingham. Looking at the records here, official attendance was 77,141. About 600 more people than watched Georgia and Auburn last year. So they filled it up, and the second largest crowd ever. Tremendous TV audience from the rankings. So we go to Sunday, and the college football playoff committee goes on a 4-hour show to get us announced. And number 1 is Alabama, number 2 is Clemson, number 3 is Notre Dame, and number 4 is the Associated Press Player of the Year. He ran away with the votes today for the AP Player of the Year, and that's Kyler Murray from the Oklahoma Sooners. And I've asked you this and several other of our fans around, did Tua lose the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night?
In my opinion, with, you know, the game that Murray had, yes, I believe he did. Right. You know, I believe it was his up until that point. You know, his stats aren't as gaudy as the rest of them because he did not, you know.
He didn't play.
He didn't play.
I mean, he played, I think, going in, they said, to the SEC championship and the Big 12 championship. He had played something like 137 minutes less and 200 and something less snaps than Kyler Murray had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kyler Murray ends up, we'll look up his stats as we go away here for a break in a minute, as we compare the statistics of them. You saw this afternoon, we've got the invite for the Heisman in New York on Saturday night, and they just bring in the 3 finalists. They may should bring in 5, but they announced the 3 finalists today, and who were they?
They were Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Haskins out of Ohio State,
who had a tremendous day in the Big Ten championship.
Yes, he did as well.
495 yards, 5 touchdowns, and I believe maybe 2 interceptions in that game too. But I mean, who gives a crap when you threw for 500 yards? Yeah. 499 official yards in that game. Now we've got number 1 Clemson going to the Cotton Bowl to take on the Notre Dame 12-0 Fighting Irish. Chip Kelly and crew, and Dabo Swinney once again has a tremendous year. Is Dabo starting to put together a mirror of what Saban is doing at Alabama? And obviously Clemson does not have the resources of Alabama, but he's got that football team on track and that entire program on track.
I mean, I think he is. I think he's put it together a little differently where, you know, he's the motivator, but he gets the best assistants.
Yeah, he's got him, and he's got the highest paid assistant in the country right now with his defensive coordinator, who I'm surprised has not had his name mentioned for more jobs this year.
Well, he might be one of them. He's looking for a high-profile job, and he's just going to stay at Clemson until somebody offers it to him.
It would be interesting to see where he would go next. I don't think I can't name another job in the SEC. I mean, the ACC you'd want.
Florida State.
Yeah, well, Florida State. We'll have to see what Willie Taggart does. And you talk about moves. I mean, Saturday, all the conference championship. Usually Sunday, you have some coaches firing. But then Monday it blew up in Auburn, Alabama with the Gus Malzahn situation. And then, of course, the announcement of Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech that he was going to leave. And that's interesting. December 19th is early signing day. And Tech has not pulled the trigger. They've interviewed Ken Wisenhunt and a couple of other players as well, other guys as well, too.
Is that that's about the highest profile job out right now, ain't it?
Yeah, unless something happens over in Auburn. I think everything else has been filled. Les Miles has gone to Kansas. Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator at Auburn, announced on Tuesday, that he was leaving Auburn to go be the OC at Kansas. I don't get why you leave Auburn University to go to Kansas unless you're playing basketball, but part of the reason, of course, is everything that's going on at Auburn with Gus Malzahn. Supposedly a renegotiation of his buyout and his contract. He's got to be revenue neutral with his assistant coach hires. Hugh Freeze is still out there. Nick Saban wanted Hugh Freeze back in March of this year to come on and be a part of the staff at Alabama. Everybody believes that the Southeastern Conference put the quash on that and said, no, he's got to sit out another whole season before anybody can hire him. His name has been mentioned at Tennessee. Chip Lindsey's name was mentioned at Tennessee. Obviously at Auburn. A lot of people don't know this. Hugh Freeze has a daughter at Auburn. He owns a home over in Auburn.
Boy, you're hoping, ain't you?
We know what the guy can do. He is a very close friend of Hugh Freeze. He's also a close friend of Chad Morris over at Arkansas. So I don't know. And then now you have Alabama's offensive coordinator has left. He's going to be the Maryland head coach. You have the Georgia defensive coordinator, and Mel Tucker has accepted the job at the University of Colorado. All of a sudden, Colorado seems the place to go out of the SEC if you're an assistant coach, whether you look at Jim McElwain that went to Colorado State, Mike Bobo. When McElwain came back and went to Florida, Bobo is at Colorado State, and now Mel Tucker's leaving. He's going to go to Colorado to be the head coach at Colorado. Willie Taggart's offensive coordinator is fired at Florida State. If you'd watch that football team this year, I'm telling you,
their offense was
confused.
Horrible.
Absolutely confused.
I mean, most of the plays you've seen them run, it seemed like they just took forever to develop.
Yeah, I noticed it opening night against Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like they didn't know where they were supposed to be on the field.
And they were like in slow motion.
Yeah. There was no rhyme or reason to the development of that offensive team this year. So you've got openings everywhere if you're Hugh Freeze. He is coming back to coaching this year. The obvious choice is said Auburn. His daughter is there in college, owns a home there. But with what's going on with Gus Malzahn, we'll talk about it a little bit more tonight. He's just going to they've handcuffed him. No multi-year deal for his assistant coaches. Basically, we've heard this week that he can only offer somebody a one-year deal. There's not an high-profile assistant coach in the country that's coming in on a one-year deal, unless you think the guy you're coming to work for is done after a year, and you go in and prove your mettle and prove your side of the ball, and you're the first candidate of the line,
But I mean, okay, he comes in. Auburn goes
7-5 again.
No, so they go, 13-2.
Well, they couldn't go 13-2. Well, they could. Yeah, they could go 13
you
with
go,
a bowl game.
You go 13-2, and then I mean, if you come in and do that great of a job, are you going to lose that many games?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Then you come in and you save the head coach.
Yeah, you save the head coach. I mean, I don't. You keep hoping for it. The only way I see him taking that job is out of being comfortable with who he's working with. He's going to get offered more money at Tennessee. He's going to get offered more money at Florida State. He's going to get offered more money at Alabama.
I don't think it's more money. It may be more money. It's a multi-year deal.
Yeah, and multi-year deals.
Auburn says, okay, we'll give you $2 million, but it's a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Alabama, Florida State, Tennessee say, okay, we'll do the $2 million, and we'll give you a 3-year deal.
And also you look at Alabama. If you're wanting to get back into being a head coach, where do they go?
That's the coup I see coming. I see Alabama making a move on him because Saban wanted him last year. Now, does Saban bring him in as offensive coordinator? Who's the offensive coordinator going to be at Alabama?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I would say this: if Saban's not going to offer him the offensive coordinator position, I don't see him coming to Alabama because there's going to be too many other schools that's what they're going to offer him.
No. And congratulations to Butch Jones, the great former head coach at the University of Tennessee. Saw him after the game at Mercedes-Benz, and he's wearing his championship hat. And he's got his ring, and he finally gets his SEC championship. Now, I've heard his ring is inscribed on the inside, "Champions of Life."
Huh.
So, congratulations, Butch. And Butch may go back to the Midwest. I mean, Tater Tot, Terry Bowden got fired at Akron after all these years. So, I mean, there's so many ex-coaches in Auburn, it's not even funny. Pat Dye's there, Tuberville's there, Gene Freeze is there. I'm not sure. I think Gene Chiswick still lives there. Gene Chiswick's name.
Well, maybe they just like the area. It's not. They couldn't coach
it's not the love,
and win.
It's God's country. But it's a fantastic place. Greatest place in the world, as Adrian Karsten used to say. All right, your calls tonight, 478-254-6310. We don't have a pick'em contest this week. We're saving that for the college football playoffs. So we'll tell you ahead of time if you want to go ahead and get your score in. You know how to get in touch with us on Facebook. You can email us at gridirongab@yahoo.com. And let me make sure I've got that number up there. Let's make sure we got it. Yeah, the pick'em contest, 478-550-0524. And those are going to be the games that we'll be picking. When's the playoff games?
29th.
29th. Well, we may get through Christmas before we start ringing them numbers up.
There you go.
But we want to thank, obviously, all our sponsors that we have here. Zoner's Pizza. Charlie's been behind us now for over 2 years. Couldn't do what we're doing. And let me say one thing. I want to give you a heartfelt thank you to you folks this year. But we started playing around with a little bit with what we wanted to do last year when we started broadcasting for the Georgia Doom about which direction we wanted to take this company in and see if we could really make a difference in what people got to see on high school football on Friday nights and what we're doing with the college football show. We're the only people locally live that are doing anything like this. There's a lot of wannabes out there and folks claiming to be broadcasters that never put a headset on their head in their life until some of them I gave the opportunity to. But we've been doing this for 20 years now. We've been working at it. We've been trying to grow it with help with guys like Charlie and the guys at Cherokee Brick and Tile and VitaFuse and Making Boots and Kudzu Seafood and Texas Border Grill and
Making Beer Company.
You park them, you sell them. Even the folks at Making Touchdown Club, which I've been involved with for quite a long time. But I say all that because this year we had a milestone that we hadn't hit never hit. We have now accumulated over 100,000 live viewers for what we did in a 10-game high school football season. And I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to grow it from here, but we couldn't do it without you, the viewers, enjoying what we're doing, and guys like Charlie and all the rest of them that I mentioned that are backing what we're doing. So with that being said, I can't do what I'm doing without your viewership, and we crossed the 100,000 threshold, and we got a lot left of the football season to talk about and do some things. And we're going to do some basketball, we're going to do some baseball, we're going to probably jump back into the arena football business again this year. But once again, go out and come out and support these guys that are supporting what we're doing. We're offering something unique, a live HD viewership of high school footballs. We're not trying to make you subscribe. The only thing we want you to subscribe to is our YouTube channel. You know what? It don't cost you a damn thing. We're not like another statewide organization that wants to charge you a pay-per-view to see a great football game on a Friday night. And you backed us this year on that. We had viewership all across the Southeast, out in California. We had guys overseas in Korea and Japan, and even up in Canada, and all the way to North Carolina and Tennessee and Chicago. And just I want to thank you for what you did for me this year, and it was a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to grow DSBN because it's something that's needed in the high school football community. And if you're a coach or a friend or a booster club member and you want to talk to us about getting your games on the air, there's the number on the screen right there. You talk to me, I'll work on it. I've got the people that'll help us get it done, and we'd love to add you to DSBNsports.com. We stream everything live on DSBNsports.com, on YouTube live channel, and right here on Facebook. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can always go back and watch everything we do. There's not a charge for it. You don't have to have a password. We want you to enjoy it, and that's why it worked this year. So once again, 100,000 plus folks watched this year during the regular high school football season, and we're extremely proud of that. We're going to grow it from here. So that's my monologue for tonight. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the prizes that we've still got coming up. Oh, and last week's winner for the Georgia-Alabama SEC Championship was Will Hanley, and you may know him. If you'll go to willstills.com, he's the official photographer of DSBN Sports, and he does amazing work on a Friday night, capturing all the live action of high school football and all the other sports as well.
Why can't I win it?
You can't win nothing wearing that Alabama shit on your head. But all right, so we're going to take a break.
I want a big green egg.
Yeah, we got to remind everybody what we got coming. We're going to talk about all these great prizes that are coming up at the Thursday night after the national championship game. Hey, heck, Charlie's already given away a Herschel Walker jersey. You got anything else in the goodie bag back there?
Not right now.
Man, you got to get to work. Son.
I'm trying.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. Your calls tonight. Please call us. Tell us what you think of how things ended up with the Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Georgia Tech's got to find a head coach. Auburn's got to find something. We'll talk about that. Georgia's got to replace Mel Tucker. Is that an easier thing to do for Kirby Smart than some other people? I don't know. When you're a head coach, I don't think you can be quite as concentrated on your field of expertise all the time with all the duties of being a head coach. But we want to hear your thoughts about it. 478-550-0524. We're back after this timeout. It's Gridiron Gab live on a Thursday night from Zoner's Pizza. We'll be back.
Oh my, what a pizza pie. Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie. Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
How do you say, my attorney met with me personally?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I got the compensation I deserve?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, I won my court case?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariat, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I am Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here, my kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with...
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live from Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. Let me get my microphone here right. We've talked a little bit about the SEC championship game. We've talked a little bit about the coaching carousel that has started with vacancies at Georgia Tech, who they have not named. And, you know, you and I were discussing this. December 19th is the early signing period. Is Georgia Tech going to have to pull the trigger this week?
I mean, I would have to think if you don't have a head coach, it's going to make it really rough signing, you know, football players. They're going to be dropping left and right. You know, and I think the bad part is the guy needs a week, you know, and they haven't made their decision yet, so they may have a very poor recruiting class.
Well, you know,
and you got to think them kids signed up to go in and play, you know, the offensive guys to play an option, you know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Has Georgia Tech, we got a Georgia Tech man over here eating pizza as we speak, but has Georgia Tech as the faithful grown tired of the option? Now, here's one other thing, and a name that's been highly mentioned. You've seen Bill Clark's name mentioned from University of Alabama, Birmingham, Neil Brown down at Troy, Ken Wisenhunt, the former All-American at Georgia Tech, who's now the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. You know, his name, and he was interviewed this week for that position. But Jeff Monken and Army plays Navy this weekend. Is it a possibility that Jeff Monken is the man, and they're just waiting to get through the Army-Navy game this weekend, and he could be announced on Monday?
I mean, I'm just going to say if I'm the AD and I'm looking at my program, you can win ball games as an option team. I don't think you can win championships.
Well, and in eras gone by, Oklahoma and Texas and Nebraska and some of the others certainly didn't have problems winning them, but, that was a different era.
In different era. This day and time, you're just not going to – number one, the elite athletes are not going to come to your school on offense to run that.
Well, and here's – maybe on the offensive side of the ball, what I never understood about Paul Johnson was, for the most part, he was not able to bring in the guys on the defensive side of the ball. And that's what I never understood is, you know, and maybe you don't like the offense. Let me tell you something. When it's working, it's an amazing thing to watch. And he's run up and down the field on some really good football teams and won some games. He was Coach of the Year. He won 2 ACC titles in, what was he there, 11 years or 10 years? I think 11 years. won it twice. And, you know, based on his press conference, it sounded like to me that he was not done coaching. Maybe he's not. He hasn't made up his mind yet. But I don't know. And then the other big news is Urban Meyer stepping down at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And probably as big a news for some folks on the West Coast was Helton keeping his job at USC, and that really surprised me.
I mean,
he fired T. Martin. He fired the offensive line coach in the middle of the season, Neil Callaway, Alabama graduate, Alabama All-American, former head coach at UAB. Also coached at Western Kentucky with Bobby Petrino. You know, so he made some staff changes in the year. I'll make this prediction for you right now. If Helton gets through next year, which I don't think he will at USC, then I think Urban Meyer, if he can hold off for 2 years and come back, he's only 54 years old. He ranks only third behind Nick Saban and one other in winning. The top three are Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, and Bill Snyder from Kansas State, who is retiring this year. But Bill Snyder's been around 40 years. I would hope that he had some wins on and off. He left Kansas State one time and then came back and took the job again. It goes Saban, Snyder, and then Urban Meyer, and then Mark Richt with 176 wins. So now active coaches with the demise or the resignation of Urban Meyer and Bill Snyder, Mark Richt is the second winningest active coach in college football.
Wow. I mean, you got to look. Nick Saban's going to be out before too much longer, and basically you just lost the two best college coaches, you know, in this era.
Yeah, I mean, he's finishing his career right now. He's 81 and 82 or 83 and 9 in 10 years at Ohio State. I mean, and he's been playing big boy football. Ain't no doubt about that. 2 national championships at Florida, a national championship at Ohio State, and he's 12 years younger than Nick Saban.
Yeah.
You got to put him up there as one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. He's certainly one of the greatest in the game right now.
I would only put him behind Saban.
Yeah, and you know, people despise the guy. They either like him or don't like him. The people at Florida absolutely hate him. They think he's a fake and a fraud, and he left the program in trouble. But hey, my God, the guy won 2 national championships at your school. Steve Spurrier won 1.
How many coaches in the last 20 years have won multiple national championships?
There's
Pete Carroll, Saban,
Urban Meyer, and Saban. That's it.
I mean, winning national championships, Saban might make it look easy, is really, really tough.
Yeah, you know, and we talk about the greatest football coaches of all time. I can tell you, with what Pete Carroll did at USC and what he's doing what he's done in the NFL, you got to put him up there as one of the great coaches. I mean, he's had tremendous success at both levels, which Saban couldn't do. You know, and Steve Spurrier couldn't do it.
No.
Those 3 are the only most recent one.
I mean, I think in the NFL it just takes a totally different mindset.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the other thing is too, and we've talked about this. You know, who knows what would have happened had Drew Brees passed his physical when he was a free agent and the Dolphins looked at him and Nick Saban was there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember reading reports about that, and pretty much from what I read, but it could have been different. Nick Saban, he was already gone. You know, even if that would have happened.
I know. I think he stays if he gets Drew Brees for that.
Do you?
Yeah, he would have got him his last year at Miami.
Yeah.
He was there 2 years. Is that right?
But from articles and stuff I read, he had told the owner Wayne Huizenga, hey, I can't tell you if I'm gonna be around or not. If I'm gonna enjoy doing this. And from the articles I read, he just didn't enjoy coaching in the NFL.
Well, it's hard to tell, 25 to 30-year-old guys that are going to be there probably long after you're gone.
Yeah.
You just can't treat them probably the way he treats
you can't discipline them.
You can't a 17 to 22-year-old kid. I mean, yeah, you go overboard with them and scream and yell at them too much. Number one,
they're not going to play for you.
The way these NFL players react on the sideline now, some of these coaches need to be careful how they talk to them. And, a guy's got a $40 million contract. He'll look at you and say, I'll be here when you're gone.
Yeah.
And so it is a different game.
I'd read an article where Wes Welker had told Nick Saban that, when these guys made a mistake or whatever, when he was at, I think, Texas Tech, they had to do a 50 or 100-yard crab walk, and he said, these guys ain't going to do that.
No. Now, you can go do that crab walk. I ain't doing it. And, then with the NFL guys, too, I mean, you sit there and you discipline a guy too much, or you set him down because he made a bad play or whatever. Remember, you got an owner that's going, hey, I'm paying that guy $50 million, or I'm paying him $25 million, of which I've already given him $18 million. You put his butt on the field.
Exactly.
He's playing whether you want him to or not.
Yeah, and there isn't as much control for the coach.
There's not. That's not.
Most coaches got somebody signing the players for them. They're not even picking the players. Exactly. They may have say so in it, but so it's a whole different ball game and mindset. And from what I was read about it, it was not something Saban enjoyed that much.
As we look around, and let's go and look at the upcoming bowl games. On December the 27th, and it's kind of weird that they don't have the Baylor is going to play Vanderbilt. Purdue is playing Auburn. That is in the Music City Bowl.
Y'all got a tough one.
Yeah, I think
that stellar season y'all had, and they still gave you that bowl.
Yeah, that's great. Go to Vanderbilt. Number 10 Florida will take on number 7 Michigan. Looking forward to that one.
That'll be an interesting
game.
Yep,
South Carolina will play Virginia. Missouri will play Oklahoma State. That could be pretty good. Swan song for Drew Lock and company. And
or is he going to play?
Yeah, I don't know. They're going to suit up Kelly Bryant now that he's signed with.
I don't think they can suit him up quite yet.
Yeah. But number 23 Missouri takes on Oklahoma State. North Carolina State will play Texas A&M. That is December 31st.
I'm going to make a prediction for next year. Texas A&M is the most improved team in the SEC. There's only one other team I think could beat them out. Florida.
Kelly Bryant's not going to make a difference at Missouri?
I mean, they had Drew Lock, a pretty good quarterback,
Probably more NFL ready than Brian is.
Yeah. So
that'd be right. North Carolina State plays Texas A&M. Mississippi State. I don't know. Well, Joe Moorhead down at Mississippi State did a good job. They're currently ranked 18th.
But this is Michael. They had a great defense. What in the world happened to their offense?
Well, the offense got better at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But they've got to replace their quarterback down there, Fitzgerald. I think he is a senior this year. Okay. You know what? He might be a junior, but I think Fitzgerald, this is his senior year. Mississippi State's playing Iowa. Number 11, LSU is playing the University of Central Florida. Number 11 versus number 8. That's January, New Year's Day at 1 o'clock.
Please pound them, LSU.
I want LSU to bludgeon them to death. And figuratively speaking.
Yeah, they already had Greedy Williams for LSU isn't going to play.
Declared for the draft, not going to play.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a new trend. A couple of years ago, several players now that they declared for the draft, they're not going to play in those bowl games because they can't risk getting hurt.
Yep.
Number 14, Kentucky will take on Penn State.
That should be an interesting game.
Should be an interesting game, but I'll tell you, I think Penn State wins that game, and I think they win that game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it'd just be me. It's going to be interesting to see if Kentucky can compete.
Well, I think they can. They just can't put points on the board.
Yeah.
You know, Stoops had a great year and Benny Snell, but you know he's got to get a quarterback in there, and that's his problem. Okay, the playoff games, as we said, Alabama takes on Oklahoma
You didn't even mention the last game.
Oh, well, I'm getting there. Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. The number 5 Georgia Bulldogs take on number 15 the Texas Longhorns. That's a 8:45 kickoff on New Year's Day at the Sugar Bowl.
I will say go Dogs.
And Georgia, you know, the last time they played them was the Cotton Bowl in the 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
Late 80s. John Lastinger scored a touchdown with little or no time left in that game to win it for the Dogs. Texas is an improved football team. I think Georgia is the better.
But do they come out there kind of like Auburn did last year against UCF?
It doesn't matter. I think Kirby will have his guys a little more prepared.
Or even when Saban went and played Oklahoma last time, you know, Oklahoma whooped up on them, and it looked kind of like, you know.
Yeah, Bob Stoops was coaching then, and a lot of people had run their mouth that Big Ten couldn't play with Alabama, and he put it on that ass.
No, he did.
So, Alabama takes on December the 29th, Oklahoma. That game will be in the Orange Bowl, and then Clemson and, Notre Dame take on each other at the Cotton Bowl at Jerry Jones's Palace. And Dabo's looking forward to going out there. He's,
I'm going to say if any of the games are going to be a blowout, any of the two, that's the one I'd pick.
I think Notre Dame is a better football team than the team that showed up for the national championship at Alabama in 2012. They're a much more balanced team. I think their defense is as good. I'm not sure I question a little bit about their offensive production. They should have got beat by Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
17-13, Vandy's driving and can't score. I mean, they got the ball across midfield. If I remember right, deep in Notre Dame territory, and Notre Dame held them off on a 4th down play.
Yeah. If you look at Notre Dame's schedule this year, it looks like they had a really tough schedule, but it just kind of failed that most of them teams were not that good other than Michigan.
Yeah, the marquee wins Michigan.
You know, USC had a bad year.
And USC had a shot to beat them.
Miami. They played Miami, didn't they?
USC beat them 21. USC lost to them 21-14?
Yeah.
Or was that a 17-14 game? Can't remember.
No, I think they scored 21.
Let's see if I can click on this and find out real quick. Let's go. Where is it? No, it's not going to be here. It's going to be. We'll look someplace else for it. But at any rate, that's your SEC bowl rundown. As I look at this game, I think Alabama will win the football game because they'll do what you and I talked about they should have done against Georgia, and that was pound the football. They did not do that.
Yeah.
Of course, when you got a guy like Tua, you going in and the season he had, they should have. But against Oklahoma, they're going to have to control
the ball
clock
a little bit.
Yeah, they're going to have to. And I think they can run up and down the field on Oklahoma's defense. Oklahoma's defense did play better in the game against Texas. But I still think that Oklahoma's defense will struggle if Alabama decides to lean on them a little bit. And if you're Saban, you got Damian Harris and those guys, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
You know, go in there and physically. You can throw it any time with Tua. Now, is Tagovailoa, what's the deal with his ankle injury? Did he have a scope done on him?
Yes.
Okay.
He said in 2 weeks he would be back. So.
Well, okay. 2 weeks he can come back and practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the way the scope works, it's probably not a whole big serious injury. Although he seems to have turned it around on his knee injury a little bit too, but could that raise its head again because of an ankle injury?
Well, now he's got a lot of time to rest it, so hopefully you can get it healed up in that amount of time. And where you couldn't, he ain't had time to really rest it, with playing, week in and week out during the season.
We didn't mention, but just a few minutes ago, we told you that Kyler Murray was named the AP Associated Press Player of the Year just in the last 15, 20 minutes. He was named the Davey O'Brien best quarterback in the country winner as well.
Yeah.
So congratulations. I mean, the kid's deserving. He went to Texas A&M, transferred to Oklahoma. He came in and said, he's got, like you said, a $5 million contract waiting on him.
Yeah.
And in baseball, and he wanted to come back and play with his teammates this year. He got the start after who's the kid that was quarterback last year?
Mayfield?
Yeah, Baker Mayfield. Sat behind Baker Mayfield all of last year. Comes in this year, gets the start, lights it up. Takes him to the Big 12 championship, a 12-1 season, and now he's in the college football playoffs. So, Davey O'Brien Award, AP Player of the Quarterback of the Year, Player of the Year, and the Davey O'Brien Quarterback of the Year. Your guess and my guess is he's going to win the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night.
Yeah, it seems. I can't remember the last time I missed a Heisman Trophy pick. I think it was back with Peyton Manning. Got beat out.
Yeah, you're like a savant.
I know. It's just easy to pick. That's like one of the easiest awards to pick the winner.
Well, it's been all quarterbacks except for the Ingram at Alabama and then
Henry
and Derrick Henry.
Yep.
So everything since then, and before that, for 12, 14 years, where it's all quarterback.
Quarterback.
So you got to wonder where the next great running back is going to be to emerge.
I don't know. I think it's starting. It's like the NFL now. It's starting to phase out of college football.
Yeah, it's a quarterbacks league again.
Yeah, well, I mean, and they're wanting to use multiple backs, and the backs are catching more passes. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alabama's running Gus Malzahn's offense now.
There you go.
And doing a much better job, I may add. Kelly Bryant, he narrowed it down. Thought he was going to come to Auburn. Gus Malzahn and his coordinator actually flew up Wednesday, to visit him one last time. And I tell you, with no offensive coordinator at Auburn and the uncertainty that's running around at Auburn, he chose Missouri. I still think the Missouri pick is kind of weird to me. I don't get it.
The only thing I can say is I think he's going in there hoping they're going to turn him into more of a pro-style quarterback.
Here's the deal. Derek Dooley has spent the last 4 years in the NFL. He's had several stints in the NFL. Obviously, NFL personnel like him as a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. He left the NFL and went to Missouri this year. It'd be interesting to get a look at Drew Lock's stats from last year in that offense to what Derek Dooley changed it up a little bit this year. I don't know that his stats were quite as good this year, but he may have graduated some people he was throwing the ball to, because I don't have a working knowledge of Missouri. It is, I promise you, from afar, watching that football team. But I know Drew Lock is more than likely going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. And
they're saying it's kind of a weak.
It's a weak year for quarterback, and maybe that's why Jared Stidham from Auburn, even though he had a great year last year, throwing for over 3,500 yards, led in completion percentage, efficiency, and I think touchdown passes. Had a bad year this year, but he's decided to declare.
Do you know what the report I heard?
What?
He's going to be a day 2 pick, which that means past the 3rd round.
I would agree. Because now with the year that he had at Auburn this year, they're going to go to his agent, whoever that may well be, and you got to probably believe it's Jimmy Sexton or somebody else, and the NFL franchises are going to use they know what they're getting with this kid. They've looked at his mechanics. They've looked at his throwing motion. Not just him, but everybody else out there. They know the potential of these kids. Sometimes I don't, look, I don't care if you played on a bad college football team. You look good to us in these areas, and we think we can develop you into an NFL quarterback, defensive end, linebacker, whatever it is, regardless of what the rest of your teammates did.
Yeah, but what does that say for Stidham, that you're going to be a day 2 pick, Well, you're definitely not doing it for the money at that point in time.
Well, no, you are doing it for the money because if you can, is it 3 rounds the first day and 4, 5, and 6 rounds second day? Is that right?
4 through 7 on the second day.
4 through 7. If he could be a 3rd round pick, that's pretty damn good money. If you can go in the first, I've heard if you can go in the first 4 rounds, you ought to go, especially the first 3.
I don't know. I was on that with you. He should stay in and try to improve his draft stock, in my opinion.
Okay. So when we come back, we're going to talk about some other quarterbacks, underclassmen that we didn't see a lot of productivity out of this year. And we're going to speculate on some guys that are graduate transfers, just like Kelly Bryant, and see if we can figure out where they're going to go. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night. We'd love to hear from you. No pick'em contest this week. Welcome to congratulate Will Hanley. That's his 2nd win for the year. So him and Terry Smith are our only 2-time winners this year. We'll go over the prizes when we come back, and we'll talk about some of these highly rated 5-star underclassmen quarterbacks in particular, about what they're going to do. And we're also going to talk about what does Jalen Hurts do now. You're listening to Gridiron Gab on a Thursday night, live from Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road. The pizza and the wings are steaming hot, stromboli, whatever you want. Come on down. We'd love to have you with us tonight. Heck, we'll even put you on the microphone to talk a little football. We'll be back after this timeout.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to BillHardenMusic.com.
Is your house having a midlife crisis? Maybe it's time for a nip and tuck. Cherokee Brick has been transforming interiors and exteriors for over 100 years. Where you see a blank wall or old porch, we see potential. Add warmth and elegance to your home with an updated entryway, porch, or kitchen. At Cherokee Brick, we cut out the middleman and provide a robust selection of colors and sizes to fit your brick needs. Visit us online to find out more about where you can purchase Cherokee Brick, straight from the manufacturer.
The most interesting man in seafood is Captain Lee of Kudzu Seafood Company. Captain Lee brought the Gulf Coast to Middle Georgia without getting any sand in his Speedo. At Kudzu Seafood Company, Captain Lee's oysters shuck themselves out of respect for him, throwing themselves as tribute into hot oil until golden brown. Served as a kudzu po' boy, their final resting place being a casket of French bread flown in from Louisiana's famous Gambinos. Captain Lee uses his signature remoulade sauce to actually sign his name on each po' boy, a signature of his approval. Sit back and relax while enjoying a cold craft beer at Kudzu Seafood Company, located at 473rd Street in Macon. Stay coastal, my friends.
Oh my, what a pizza pie. Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily. Use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, "Oh my, what a pizza pie!" Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.
To be the best, you need the best in hydration and nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport IV Nutrition.
Hello, I'm Joy Johnson at the Cottages on Westland, inviting you to come see our spacious assisted living suites. Each suite has its own kitchenette, private bathroom, separate bedroom, and living space. We provide meals, housekeeping and laundry services, personal care assistance, and a variety of daily activities. Come by and visit us soon. You'll see why our residents feel at home and why families trust their loved ones to us at the Cottages on Westland.
How do you say, "My attorney met with me personally"?
Thanks, Lester.
Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, "I got the compensation I deserve"?
Thanks, Lester. Thanks, Lester.
How do you say, "I won my court case"?
Thanks, Lester.
谢谢 Lester.
Thanks, Lester. You're a good man.
I am Lester Miller, and I will get you the compensation you deserve.
Thanks, Lester.
He ain't afraid of no one.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We want to be your Middle Georgia allergy team.
Macon Boots is the newest addition to Midtown Macon. With brands like Rocky, Ariete, Georgia Boots, and more, Macon Boots can help you find the boots you're looking for with unbeatable prices. Whether it's boots for work, everyday wear, or maybe boots are just your thing, we have a whole selection from America, Canada, and Australia. While you're here, make sure to check out our authentic belt buckles, handmade knives, genuine leather wallets, and much more that you can only find at Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
Do you want to win? Do you want to crush the competition? Do you really want it? To be the best, you need the best in nutrition. You need VitaFuse Sport. VitaFuse Sport provides IV hydration, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids for serious athletes. Our infusions are nearly 100% absorbed compared to only 20% of oral supplements. So whether you are trying to win a championship, set a new personal best, or just want to perform better and recover faster, VitaFuse Sport was developed for you.
I am Lester Miller, and if you've been in an accident or hurt on the job, I want to work for you. My office is right across the street from the Bibb County Courthouse, and it doesn't end there. Middle Georgia is my home. I graduated from high school here, college, and Mercer Law School. My family goes to church here. My kids go to school here. I work hard for my community, and when you need an attorney, I will personally take your call.
Thanks, Lester.
And I will work hard for you too.
Contact Lester Miller today for your free consultation.
Wheezing, itching, runny nose, and coughing. All these symptoms can be caused by allergies, which are very common in Middle Georgia. Airborne allergens can make it difficult to enjoy life around here, like tailgating or attending a ball game. Even that seasonal cold might be due to allergies. Give us a chance to fix that. It's what we do. With multiple locations in and around Macon, we help children and adults with allergies and asthma. We've teamed with Mercer, and we'd be happy to team with you. Go Bears!
Crosby Roofing is more than just a roofing company. It's a family-owned company with deep roots in Middle Georgia. Since 1989, Crosby Roofing has been the source of quality roofing in Middle Georgia. Inspections and estimates are always free, commercial or residential. No job is too big or too small. You can trust Crosby Roofing for a clean job site, no upfront fees, and a lifetime warranty on shingles. Discounts for senior citizens. Crosby Roofing, quality you can look up to.
You can tell everything you need to know about a man by the boots he wears. They tell his story. They let you know he works hard and plays hard. Macon Boots at 3182 Vineville Avenue carries Georgia Boot, Redback, Rocky, Durango, and more. From safety toe, chemical proof, waterproof, and snake proof to hunting, casual, and western, Macon Boots delivers only the highest quality in boots, belts, wallets, and hats to help tell any man's story. Open Monday through Saturday from 9 to 6. Follow Macon Boots on Facebook and at maconboots.com. Macon Boots. We fit Macon.
Before you put your company logo or event name on the streets, say it with authority. Apparel Authority. Now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's. Shirts, hats, cups, pens, patches, we put your logo on almost anything. Our team provides quality craftsmanship and custom embroidery, and our screen printing will turn your design into wearable works of art. Call or stop by in person for a quote. Apparel Authority, now at a new location off Eisenhower Parkway across from Lowe's.
Hey folks, Russell from Gridiron Game of the Week. When you get ready to buy a new car or a newer automobile, there's always the dilemma of what to do with your current car. Well, that's where You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em at 3306 Vineville Avenue comes in. You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em is the original automobile dealership with the owner in mind. For 18 years, You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em has been the only alternative to giving your car to a local dealer on a trade-in or trying to market your car yourself. So when you get ready to sell your old car, give them a call today at 254-6310. That's You Park 'Em, You Sell 'Em, 3306 Vineville Avenue.
Planning on a holiday party with friends, family, or coworkers? Texas Border Grill's private banquet room offers seating from 5 to 55. Lunch to dinner 7 days a week. Featuring an amazing menu with aged beef, seafood, and so many other signature dishes. Texas Border Grill.
At Bill Harden Music, our specialty is private music lessons. We teach all ages: guitar, piano, drums, violin, banjo, brass and woodwinds, voice, and more. It's easy to get started and only $80 per month. Come to our store once a week for your private lesson. Be an MVP and sign up today. Call 781-1112 or go to billhardenmusic.com.
And welcome back on a Thursday night. We're live from Zoner's Pizza on Forsyth Road, and we are joined by Michael Lau of Central Georgia Sports Report, CentralGASports.com.
There you go.
Got it right. Our go-to place every week for college and high school football and basketball and everything else that's going on. Your little fingers have been just melting down this week talking assistant coaches and head coaches and SEC championship games and everything else.
I tell you, we have a little extra time though with the extra couple days playing on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is really just kind of a heartbreaking un-American plan. But
yes, so we've got MLS soccer game this week on Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which moved the high school championship games. And let's dive into them because we, for the first time probably since '06, when we had Peach County, Northside, and Dublin all play on a Friday and a Saturday back when everybody played the state title games at their home stadium. They've been moved to Tuesday, and all three of our Middle Georgia teams, Warner Robins taking on Bainbridge, Northside's taking on Lee County, and Peach County's taking on I forgot it.
Cedar
Grove.
Yeah.
So let's start with AAA and Peach County and Cedar Grove. Give me your thoughts on that one.
It's going to be a good,
fantastic defensive effort last week by Peach County. Thought they were really
I got to go. Now I got to go back to. They I think they had a lot of confidence going into that game. And it had nothing to do with last year. Last year was way over. If you play, you got to forget the previous play, let alone the previous year.
That's
it has nothing to do with it. The key players were,
the fans were in there for that.
Yeah,
salivating about that.
And there were some people affiliated with the schools and teams that were still a little too yappy about it, but they went up there and they played their game. I think both teams were down a little bit compared to last year. But Calhoun had a couple key players. Brandon Spector, who had their only touchdown last year, the pick six. He ended up having a pick six that was called back last week. But they had a couple, they lost some bodies. And Peach County lost a lot of bodies. But, boy, they had a couple injuries, and people came in and played and stepped up. And their younger players, that's that program thing. When
sure.
There's a freshman, and if you want to keep playing, you're going to get your chance. And younger guys got their chance, and they kept playing, and they played well. And, they did their thing. They took it to them. I think Calhoun was down a little bit on defense, and Peach County took advantage of it.
The Clemson
commit Spector, Brandon Spector.
Yeah, he got hurt in the game and was out late in the second half. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But I think Peach County really was in a pretty decent. It was a close game, but you can be in control of a game and still only be up by a little bit, by not a lot. And then they got their pick six to seal it.
Yeah,
you could just tell they were going to win that game fairly early.
I was flipping back and forth listening to a lot of the broadcasts on the playoff games last week. Listening to that game, it sounded to me like it was the Peach County defense was the difference in the game. They got some turnovers, they got some calls that possibly went their way. I was listening to the homers from Calhoun, so
I thought they did a really good job. I thought they were very complimentary of, like you said, especially Peach County's front four. They just blasted them.
Yeah, I mean, they got penetration all night just based on their description.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. You and I both had a chance to talk to Coach Campbell last week, and he didn't want to talk anything about last year.
Yeah.
And I think he had his kids focused. And the fact that they had to go on the road, now, going on the road playing a Mercedes-Benz for a state champion is one thing, but to go on the road to a semifinal to an undefeated team.
You are on the road.
With what happened last year in the back of
everybody's mind.
In everybody's mind, they went up there and did a fantastic job, and now he's back because of the MLS championship game at the Benz on Saturday. The championship games for high school are Tuesday and Saturday.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
I mean Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm sorry. Talk about what he's going to face as we come back to the present with Cedar Grove.
Cedar Grove's had some pretty good players for the last couple of years. They've kind of been building a program up, and they haven't really done that much playoff-wise in the past. I think Cedar Grove probably has a little more talent, but there's no – and they've been on the stage now in recent years. But Peach County has that they are a program. They have guys that have been on that stage.
Process going.
They have a lot of guys that played last year that are back. They had a lot of guys. Really even just being in uniform on the sidelines in that game is huge. Because you're experiencing everything.
Jaden, the quarterback too. What I've noticed about him, this has been a growing experience for him this year. He's been thrown into the fire.
Right.
He's made some mistakes. Chad talked to us about this last week. I rode him hard this year.
Yeah.
I've been really tough on him at times, but he says he's always responded, and he's never let a bad play or a bad series really linger too long with him, and it's paid off for him. And he's a junior this year.
I remember after they beat Northside, Chad's emotionality is it is what it is.
Yeah, sure.
But he was about giddy after that game, the way that kid played, because he didn't expect him to be able to manage the game as well as he did and make the plays passing and running as well as he did.
Under the duress.
On that stage against that team, which even though Northside was a little bit rebuilding, their defense is always going to kind of be there.
Right.
And for him to do that on that stage and that crowd, I think he was a little surprised, and I think he kind of got the impression that we might be a little bit better than we thought. They had running back by committee. Their offensive line was going to be good. If your offensive line is going to be good, you have a chance to do anything. And they had some defense. Had a lot of rebuilding on defense to do, and that ended up being a.
But they've always got
strength
depth. They've had so much depth there.
They're always going to be pretty tough on defense, even with new players because they don't overcomplicate it, and they're a very underrated, fundamentally sound team. I keep saying this. They're always known to be physical, and they have their balance on offense, which is really fun to watch. But they're really fundamental. They don't, they make plays. They don't let a play linger. They don't let one bad play become 2 or 3 mediocre plays or negative plays, and that's how that's why you keep winning. That's why you're always going to get to the quarterfinals or semifinals.
Does this extra layoff? I mean, you would imagine the coaches are enjoying the additional ability to look at film and to get more practice time in. You and I have never been a high school coach, but played the game. Or does it make a difference to them that we've got an additional 5 days here? We got to wait for the kids to get back on the field. One thing about it, anybody that's nicked up, you may get them back healthy.
I think that's the bigger thing is you get a little chance to get some guys
long
some rest,
season. And
you can get a little bit rejuvenated. I mean, it still is a grind. Even though you're excited to be where you are, it's still a grind. You're still tired. You're still worn out. You have a little more chance to kind of relax. It does disrupt the routine. That's why I've never been a big fan of the semifinals at the Dome. That disrupts the routine completely.
Right.
But I think it's that there's only so much film you can look at this point. It is still more about you than them. You have in 2 of the games. There's so much familiarity. Warner Robins and Bainbridge don't need to see too much on each other.
Right.
Northside and Lee County don't need to see too much on each other.
They played each other.
So it's probably a little bit more of a bonus for Peach County to play around some stuff, and you can kind of watch some film and relax, and then you might get something. I've never heard a coach come up with something at 2 o'clock in the morning after watching 8 hours of film in a row.
Right.
So you get a chance to also the coaches get a chance to refresh a little bit. People don't really realize how big that can be. But then I think the players get a little refreshed, and they'll get about Sunday, and they'll start getting a little itchy. They'll probably have a good walkthrough Monday because they're ready to go.
They're the early game.
It's all in order. It's Peach County, Warner Robins, and Northside.
Okay, so that
Northside game will get going about
9 o'clock,
9:30,
10 o'clock,
9:32. That's the office pool to have. What time does that last game start?
That's right.
Because they'll have to stop for television.
Your thoughts in that game? High school to me a lot of times is always harder to predict once you get to the championship level, unless you've just obviously got a clear horse out there, which we'll talk about one in just a minute. But your thoughts, and then have you made your predictions on CentralGeorgiaSports.com yet? Or are you going to hold off till Monday?
Oh yeah, I haven't broken down film yet.
Okay,
I'm taking that extra time too.
Okay. Hey, I know
because I guarantee you, if anybody started working on a fake punt, there'd have been a revolt on the field.
Right.
Players would say, "No, coach, no, don't do that, please, no."
Get a no reference. I'm hoping there. They welcome to Georgia fans. Now they have the bleeding ulcers that I have. Moving on, big win. I can't tell you how excited I was. And I'm a Macon guy, but I'll tell you what, for Warner Robins to get that win against the Red Wolves of Rome last week, and the fashion they did it in. They got out to an early lead. Rome tried to battle back on them, and then they, the what happened to them last year in the state title game on their field, and there was some jawing and some not so polite things said afterwards at McConnell Talbot Stadium when the ice storm canceled the championship game last year. If y'all remember, they had to move those games. And Warner Robins won the coin flip, and it was at McConnell Talbot. Warner Robins scored a field goal, maybe a touchdown in the first game.
38-0.
Yeah, drove the ball
early. They didn't get many drives.
And after that, Fromm was on his back most of the night, and Rome just put it to him. What was the final in that?
38-0.
38. For some reason, I thought the score was higher than that. But big satisfaction for that win last week.
And talking to Mike Chastain last week, and we're talking, and Rome had lost some bodies. I mean, they had 4 D1 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
And then you're going to lose other players. You're going to lose more than that. But the gap had closed. A little bit of Rome coming down, but I think also Warner Robins coming up. In as much as the stage now was no big deal. It wasn't a state championship, but you know what? You got to win your semifinal to get there.
Sure.
And now they're used to it. They're at home again. They knew that they were more familiar with this team. They knew what they had lost. And Warner Robins is a very they don't have the D1 major D1 prospects like a lot of teams that are this far do, but boy, they just play really sound, efficient fundamental. Don't exacerbate mistakes. Short-memoried football.
Don't kill
they're really
yourself,
they're really fun to watch. They're balanced. They're more balanced than people think. They're still a little more pass happy, and they throw too much late in the game when they don't need to.
Right.
But their defense has really come on. They've had 4 shutouts, I think it is this year, which
now,
their boys down the road haven't had that many, haven't had shutouts like that, and they're doing it against some decent teams. One of them was Bainbridge, 35-0, or 38-0 was that score.
Right.
So their defense is coming on, and that's really the confidence boost, because when you can stop somebody, and then you can go score. And actually, it was Rome got up first in that game on a trick play, like a double reverse pass, which they tried about. I think 2 or 3 of their touchdowns were on quote unquote gimmick plays.
Right.
Well, you know what? They're in the playbook. Use them. People need to use them more in a game to loosen people up.
Right.
But every time they did that, Warner Robins kind of came back, and it was 14-all. Then Warner Robins is up 28-14, and then Rome comes back on a Warner Robins mistake, an interception, and then they converted it, and then also they just put it away. That's the thing, is they have a very short memory. That all the little cliches that you preach and that you want a team to have, they had, and that's why they won. They controlled. They controlled that game.
Well, and you hit on a key point. And you look at successful teams, successful quarterbacks. Mistakes and adversity are going to come in a football game, especially when you're playing really other good football teams.
40 in a row.
Yeah, and the guy the guy in the team that can get up after the bad play and forget about it.
Right.
To me, they'll end up winning the football game.
That's the underrated thing that nobody talks about. TV people don't talk about it, but those are the little things that you get up and you can't do it. You take it up to the college level. Alabama's like that. They don't have any more talent than anybody else, but they have fundamental. They play fundamental football.
I don't know about that.
I think there are 10 teams that have the same amount of talent. They get guys that play smarter football and that want to win more than they want to go to the NFL.
It's the process.
It is. Everybody laughs about it, but it is. Georgia's kind of getting there a little bit with that. Clemson's getting there a little bit. But the teams have the talent. But you have to get guys that don't make the mistake and don't try to make a play they can't make. That's why Georgia's lost twice to Alabama. Not this last one. But, the Aaron Murray SEC championship game, a cornerback tried to make a play that he can't make. He turned his head, and the guy blew right past him. Fundamental football. Alabama doesn't make the mistakes that people make that they win games on. That's the simple thing. They all have the guys. They all got the big boys. They all got the fast ones. They all got, everything you want. But they don't beat themselves, and it's as simple as that. If you went down and broke down a game, you would see the mistake that led to a good Alabama play in the same situation on the other side. Alabama's guy doesn't make that play.
Oh, wait a minute now.
It's a joy to watch.
I thought it was pass interferences and holdings and offsides.
Well, other than that, if the other team can overcome those things and stay close, then they do get finally beat on a fundamental play.
And I've watched it. The good teams, regardless if it's Georgia or Alabama or Ohio State, turnovers come in the game, and you know what? For good teams, I'm sorry, the ball's going to bounce their way. And a lot of times that's because they've got a guy disciplined enough to be in position to make that that bad play turn into a good one or one that's not going to hurt them.
Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make kids have to think too much. Kind of make it easy, and then there's that fear factor. So but they get guys that want to play. And you don't really hear that many guys from Alabama. They're always looking to jump after 2 years. They go to Alabama to win.
Right.
And they know that in the process, they're going to become better players because they are coached up. And they're going to have that chance to go, their 3rd or 4th year.
And you're right. And I think we're seeing it with Kirby Smart at Alabama. At Georgia. And, the one to me that gets me is how Dabo's doing it at Clemson.
Well, but they're what's the difference logistically and demographically from Clemson to Auburn? It's a lake. Athens is a little bigger city. They all have those things. They're all capable of it. People are capable of it. But, again, it is that simple thing. You have your standards. You have your rules. You have your process, and you stick by it. You recruit what you're going to recruit. You're not going to let anybody else talk you out of doing what you want to do. You're going to hire the right people. That's still the bottom line, is hiring the right people.
Oh, it's about this.
Because everybody knows the same amount of football. The guy going 3-8, 3-9 knows the same amount of football. It's just what he chooses to do with it. When you open your ears and you listen to stuff and you hire the right people and you get in your thing, this is how we're going to do it. If you want to do it this way, you can be on our staff. If you think you're going to be able to redo things all the time, then it's probably not going to work out.
Okay, so let's fold this back to our last championship game. Northside against Lee County University.
Man, I can't figure that one out.
What was the final in their regular
24-7. That was by far their closest game.
24-7. And that game was close a little early.
Oh,
I think.
It was
14-7 ball game.
Well, 24-7 is not much, certainly for Lee County. If you're within 17 by the end of the first quarter, you almost have a moral victory there. But the thing is,
let's talk about Kevin Kinsler and Northside for a second. They lost 5 football games this year, and they are playing for a state championship. This guy got to get votes for Coach of the Year.
Oh yeah, and then the thing is, you look at they've played 8 ranked teams.
Right.
Now they have a losing record against them, but most people are gonna have a losing record against them.
Yeah.
And they were in rebuilding mode, and they had injuries. So, but again, it's the same thing. People can I don't think as much, but you overlook the quality of being a program, and they are. You look at how few coaches they've had in the last 30 years. Conrad Nix, 1 or 2 other people, Conrad and Kevin.
Yeah.
And Kevin played there and he coached there. And there's a certain standard. Northside does have a little bit of a familial kind of thing. It is a program on and off the field, and there's just they weren't going to let that. They were going to make the playoffs. They were going to do something. They weren't going to. But to get where they are, just kind of they're playing. They look like a normal Northside team, which is what happens when guys get experience and don't cave in under the pressure of losing that many games.
I just got a feeling,
get healthy.
I got a feeling about this game that Northside is going to play lights out in this game.
Oh, I think they are. But it's what does I don't think Lee County is going to overlook them because they know that was their toughest game.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing is they're not going to be, they're going to know how much better Northside is. You look at Lee County; it's probably been stable. It's pretty stable. They're still beating the crap out of people, and there's something to be said for that.
And they're loaded with D1 talent again.
Yeah. And there's the Ryder and U-Haul are making a lot of money in the general. I'm sorry, Uber is making a lot of money in the Albany, Daugherty area.
Taking fans to game. That's exactly what he's
exactly what they are.
To.
They're really just involving the community, no matter what community.
This close to having Peach County, Warner Robins, Northside, and Mary Persons in this championship. Could have had 4 all around us.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, the 2 capable teams Dublin was capable of making
Jones County.
Jones County. I tell you what, I texted Justin Rogers about all region team today, and I said, was there I can be profane on here, a WTF moment about what the hell about Bainbridge at that meeting? Because they knocked out 2 region teams.
Right.
Stockbridge and Jones County.
Right.
Top 5 teams.
Right.
Bainbridge. Same thing. You talk about Northside doing it is
that game
big.
shocked.
Bainbridge is bigger because Bainbridge has very little postseason tradition.
I'm telling you, those quarterfinal games, that was the game that shocked me more than any. That Jones County did not win that football game.
Well, they lost in the first round.
Oh,
they beat Stockbridge.
That's right.
And Stockbridge pulled one out at Jones County at the end of the year, but I thought Jones County was a capable team. I'd never thought they lost 40-19. I don't care what the weather is. I don't think they're going to lose 40-19.
And then it looked like Dutchtown was going to roll through that as well.
Man, it was a funky. The weather was a problem, and then it gets in kids' heads, and they don't really kind of do what they're supposed to do because they think, the weather's here. What are we going to do?
Would it be fair to say, without pushing your predictions that are coming, I hope Monday, and everybody can read at centralgasports.com. I'm predicting 2 of the 3 win state championships.
Yeah, I think that's easy. One of them's a very easy call. I haven't looked at the Maxwell ratings numbers, but Warner Robins has got to be a solid double-digit computer favorite.
Right.
I think Peach County, Cedar Grove are going to be very close.
But wait a minute now. Who thought Warner Robins would do what they did with Rome?
That line was only 4.
Really?
So nobody really thought it would have been. Nobody would have thought it would have been 17.
Right.
45-28
was the final in that.
Yeah. And I think they left a point or 2 out there. That couple little drives that stalled. It could have been. They could have scored 50 on Rome. 50 on Rome.
Yeah.
In one game.
Yeah, and nobody
have done that in months.
And I don't think anybody, even with the prediction or the spread on that game being only single digits. I mean, nobody 45 points on Rome.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They were
that close to scoring 50.
Okay, so we'll wait for your predictions, and we'll read them with gusto when they come out Monday, right? Monday?
I'll probably do it Monday, yeah, get it out of the way.
Okay, all right.
Because everybody's going to be traveling on Tuesday, going to games.
And they're shutting down. I know they're shutting down Peach County.
They're shutting down every school.
What? Warner Robins.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what's going to be
schools have to travel too.
You know what's going to be fantastic about that is that
the snowstorm that's coming in from the north now.
Hey, it's.
I know. There's a wintry mix being described
being rolled
lately.
up his sleeves. Okay, but my overriding point is, what a crowd that's going to be in the in Mercedes-Benz with Warner Robins, Peach County, and Northside there, and everybody in Houston County and Peach County, and probably some from Crawford and Bibb. That's going to be the biggest. That'll be a bigger day than Wednesday as far as attendance, I think.
Who's playing Wednesday? I don't know about that because you know what? They're all day games. You know, not everybody can take off. You know, not every kid that's out of school is going to go to that game. You know, and frankly, Warner Robins doesn't draw well at all anyway.
Well, they just need to crank up them cheese hounds and get the party bus going.
I don't think there's any such thing as a good crowd, and I hate that process. I hate playing at the Dome.
Right.
I just really, you know, you take it away from there for 2 years, and kids experience playing what everybody did last year. Everybody, you know, and this scenario, which is now a possibility every year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do you change your whole season because of the possibility of the Atlanta United? Do you have a backup? You know, I can handle playing it if they got to play it up there, but there's so many contractual obligations and there's so much money involved that they have to pay, and it's not as easy to deal with as it was with the Georgia Dome. These are different people, but you know what? If you have to play in Atlanta, you know you can't really play at Kennesaw because Kennesaw's a host one AA playoff team for the near future.
Right.
But you can play at Georgia State because they're not. If you have to play in Atlanta, otherwise, if you're not going to play at the Dome and you can't play on a Friday or Saturday, play it at the dang home sites or neutral regional sites. Establish a championship level facility in every part of the state in every sport, and do that.
The problem with it, and one of the arguments for it, number one, it was a moneymaker for the Georgia Dome, or they conceived it as a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Then you've got the TV contracts and the sponsor contracts, but all of that got overridden by Major League Soccer because those contracts are a hell of a lot bigger.
Right.
Arthur Blank's not giving up that check.
No, and they shouldn't. That's a professional stadium, so professional is always gonna get in. It should. And that's what's gonna pay the bills. You know, it's the professional that allows them to be able to do what they're not making money up there.
Right.
You know, I'm not sure how anybody makes money on it. You know,
well, Major League Soccer's gotten to be a big. Hell,
on the high schools.
But United's outdrawing the Falcons.
Oh, I know.
They sell out every game almost.
Hell, they're better than they are. Hell, they ought to play them.
Nah, they'd take a dive.
They'd get hammered there.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now let's move on back to the college level, and we're going to touch on some coaching stuff here in a minute. But your thoughts on SEC championship game and the college football playoffs?
It was Georgia that we had.
I agree.
And I'll defend a coaching decision 98% of the time because I understand what they're trying to do. They're seeing stuff that people aren't seeing. There's a reason for them to call it. There's always a reason for them to call it. Sometimes that reasoning is a little off. I just don't think that you put Fields in there when you've screwed up the whole year with him because everybody's making too much of a deal out of it. You know what? He's the backup. Don't worry about what his quote-unquote star ratings were because they're all irrelevant. And that's a bigger internet scam than certain other things. He's the backup. Deal with it. Don't put him in there in that position and make them when you can make somebody go 90 yards instead of 50.
Yeah,
I'm no mathematician, but I get that.
Yeah, I mean,
and their defense is playing good enough. You make them call a different game from the 90 with 5 minutes left than you do from the 50.
The best point that you and I talked about, and you made this, and it was a great analysis, and we both agreed on this, is you go in there and Kirby says, well, we didn't get the snap off in time. You got, like you said, 37 coaches screaming in your headset, get out, get out, get out.
They can all see a
because
clock.
Alabama didn't even bring in the punt defense. They stayed in their normal defense.
And you can do that stuff against anybody else in the country except Alabama. You know, Georgia, the SEC championship game, they're going down there. They're moving the ball. They have the defense on their heels. They don't spike it and call timeout and get settled. I do that again. I can handle not doing that against anybody but Alabama because Alabama's going to make a play because that's what Alabama does.
Right.
Anybody else in the country, I can defend going down there and keeping them on their heels and not calling timeout, but not against Alabama. And
right.
then you don't call plays to the short side of the field when it matters.
Yeah, we'll get to the CFP selection committee in a second. I'll tell you a big turning point in that game, and I was standing in the kitchen. I was cooking food, and I was listening to the game and running back in there to look at the TV. The Rodrigo Blankenship missed field goal from 30 yards out. At that moment, I looked at my wife and I said, that may have changed the game right there.
That led to a lot of people going to church on Sunday because that doesn't happen very damn often.
Right, it doesn't. But,
yeah.
I mean, you can almost feel, boom, he misses it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing is you can't let that, because Alabama's missed kicks all year. You got to get over that. That's the thing is Alabama can't get over it. They've missed
point
afters.
They didn't miss it in that game.
Well, yeah, but, you miss one at the wrong time against a decent team, and that may open the door for a confidence level.
It's 31-14 at that point, though. It does change some complexion of the game.
It does. But
no more so than punting from your 49.
And you're still up. You're still at 28-14. That's still you still have that. You didn't lose points. You just didn't gain any.
Right.
So it's just then all you have to do is status quo.
Yeah, and I mean,
don't give up. Just because you make the mistake, don't exacerbate that by then playing down.
Yeah, and maybe the punter shanks it, and Alabama gets it on their 31 or 32, but maybe he pins them inside the 15, inside the 10, inside the 5.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I got to go 90, 92, 97 yards instead of 47 yards.
Those kind of plays were there, and I understand that, and Kirby says that, but you know what? There are also 4 ways to get out of it. You always talk about your quarterback getting you out of a bad play. Your quarterback didn't get you out of a bad play.
Right.
And the thing is there was no emergency.
In fact, he waltzed into
He's supposed to see that guy's covered, and there's got to be a run option, or take a timeout.
And maybe there was, but he didn't get
call
executed.
He didn't call it because nobody blocked. They stood there because they knew it was going to be a pass. Nobody blocked, so he got hammered. The other thing is take the 5-yard penalty. Everybody blows timeouts for no reason to drive you nuts. Georgia does it. Everybody does it. Take the 5-yard penalty. Save the timeout. You can always get yardage back. You can't get a timeout back. That drives me nuts about coaches. They're so stubborn.
Right.
Take the penalty unless you're in the red zone and it's the last 2 or 3 minutes of the half of the game. But if they'd taken the penalty, then you get a little more room to kick. You're stopped you taking a breath. And just do it. Just get the fundamental thing off.
So for the second year in a row, they've been outscored by Alabama 28-7 in a national championship game and a SEC championship game. College football selection committee, they overlooked the Dogs. My contention is a 20-point LSU hurt them more than the 7-point loss to Alabama.
I don't think it did as much because LSU
It got them to 2 losses. The Alabama loss did.
Yeah, and it was also the way they lost. Alabama was not playing a good game, and they blew it. They really should have won that game by 14 or 21 points.
Right.
Based on how Alabama was playing.
They had that.
And LSU was, LSU was they were ranked 13th at the time.
Right.
And you're playing it at LSU, which adds about 5 ranking spots. No matter what time of day it is, 11 o'clock in the morning, it's still going to be LSU on a Saturday. So I don't think that one did. It was ugly doing it, but that's that thing where the earlier you lose, the better. But you lost to a quality team.
Yep. Both of their losses. LSU is still ranked 11th.
I think so, something like that. Yeah. And so they lost. It was a quality loss. It wasn't like Ohio State's losses the last 2 years. Everybody thinks that there were so many teams that should have been considered. No, it was down to Oklahoma and Georgia. I was talking to a friend of mine that day. I said, no, those were the only 2 teams in it. Last year, Ohio State shouldn't have been in the conversation because they lost by 30 to Iowa.
Right.
And then this year, by 30 to Purdue. And so that now at least this year they had a Michigan win to kind of balance that. Last year they didn't have that win. But that still is a balance. It doesn't raise you up anymore. It just makes you,
Yeah,
So
I think they got it right.
Yeah.
Or is Georgia probably as good a football team right now as any of the other 4? Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
I think this was the first year that there was a 5th team. I think You can say there's a legitimate 15 that had an argument.
I'm not convinced this Georgia team was better than last year's Georgia team, but I am convinced they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country.
I think that this is the year where, I'd rather them go to 6 and give a bye for the first round, maybe. Again, baby steps. It's taken us this long to get to this point,
right.
and every process is going to be flawed. This one doesn't really clear up that much, but I think they were going to be right either way. That's the thing. They're going to be, depending on your viewpoint, they were going to be right or they were going to be wrong. So
I wouldn't be satisfied if they went to 6 teams, but I think 8 is the correct number.
I want to get to the point where we're having 7 teams in the hunt for the 4th spot, and we're not there yet. We're anywhere close to that. Because then if Alabama or Clemson loses to gets an injury and somehow loses to a UCF or a mediocre whatever team that just happens to be ranked somewhere, then everybody's going to raise hell. So it's not that they better be 8 good teams, not 4 good ones, and 4 they're just the next 4. That's the problem. There's got to be a lot of competition for the 4th spot. That's what I said from the start when they wanted to go so big. You got to get in those top 4. All 4 haven't been equal up until this year for the most part.
Yeah.
Last year, Alabama's squeezed in. People thought they shouldn't have been in. Ohio State shouldn't have been in. And you can't give a number 4 bye. So
a long ways to go on this.
There need to be more people denied that have an argument before it gets to that point to where it's so if you do have a 1-8 loss, that's going to be then it's legit.
A quick look apart and a lot to talk about and a lot to analyze between now and December 29th. I think that's right. December 29th is the day. If you had to pick a game that was an upset, who would it be?
Out of those 2?
Yeah.
Well, obviously anybody with. I think both of them. I don't think Notre Dame. Notre Dame's got an iffy resume.
Does Oklahoma's offense give Alabama's defense problems? Historically, that's been the kind of team that bothers Saban.
Yeah, I think they do. I think it's well, I guarantee you though they can't match last year's Georgia Oklahoma game, and nobody can match last year's Georgia Alabama game.
Right.
No, I think they do, but it gives Oklahoma a chance to work on their defense against an equal offense. See, that's the thing is they're facing an explosive offense in practice.
Right.
So they're gonna benefit a little bit. Both of them will.
Yeah. I hope they do a better job of stopping the practice offense.
Yeah. But then the thing is
but they played better against Texas.
And when it gets in the shootout, that gives out Oklahoma confidence. And even in shootouts, defense wins that game because defense got to stop somebody some damn time.
Yeah, somebody eventually gets a stop.
Somebody makes that stop. And
if I'm Alabama, I'm pounding the football against them and keeping that offense on the side.
Yeah.
I'm running the football. I thought they would have done more of that against Georgia, and they didn't, and that really kind of it surprised me.
Yeah, I think they got. I don't say they got into too much, Tua fervor, but Georgia's front seven's pretty decent, and I'm sure they. I don't think it's well, but they're also it's in that you do what you have to do to win your conference in the conferences that have a certain flow.
I got it.
But they have to get better on defense, because this is going to come up next year, and defense will hold them out at some point.
Okay, so we will talk about this again as we get closer. Give me your thoughts. Of course, Alabama's offensive coordinator is going to get the job at Maryland.
He's got it.
You've got
Mel Tucker.
Gone to Colorado. Just Colorado take all these SEC assistants.
I tell you.
Bobo's still at Colorado State.
Yeah, for now.
So Mel Tucker goes to Colorado. Your latest update, thoughts, knowledge, inside scoop on the Georgia Tech job.
Well, we're talking Jeff Collins from Temple seems to have jumped really to the front of the thing. I don't know what his
Wisenhunt courtesy
he's
call.
taking himself out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it was.
What about Bill Clark at UAB or I'm sorry, the guy at Troy,
Neil Brown.
Yeah. Not even interviewed.
They're probably thinking that there's a better job there next year. Everybody wants to make a big deal about being in Atlanta. Well, then if that were the case, then Georgia State would be better. And
I
just don't.
Does the interview come for Jeff Monken after Saturday's Army-Navy game?
No, it depends if they hire this guy. They may have already talked to him, and he says, I'm not interested right now.
Right.
You know, I mean,
somebody's reached out to him.
You heard him last year at the Touchdown Club. He loves Army.
Oh yeah, I mean you know, I'm living in Newt Rockney's house, man.
I tell you, I'm not sure if there is a job that can drag him out of there.
You know,
because he seems to be more, you know, he got emotional talking about that program. You don't get that from coaches much, and he's still making money, and he's in a situation where, you know,
there's a lot more. You're not there to win national. There's a mystique to that job,
and you don't take that job to win championships.
No. I mean, it's
you take a job to win, but you have a little bit of a bigger picture in mind, and I think it would be really it'd have to be he'd have to have a real feeling about something to take that job.
Okay, last but not least, let's go to the Hugh Freeze lottery. Which one is it?
I don't know. Don't you win in a lottery? I was never enamored with him at Ole Miss. I mean, you know, I got to have something over a period of time, and I don't think he had.
He and Gus are the only guys to beat Saban.
Yeah, but you're only playing him once a year. You know, you still got to do something with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're only playing most people once a year.
I think Pruitt can't have. You know, I don't know how long he's going to be there anyway, but he can't have controversial people on that staff. He's going to have this most stable situation possible, and he can't have something where people are going to keep asking about something. You know, I don't know that.
So has the pendant's not been paid long enough yet?
I think Freeze can get a job somewhere. I just don't think that it's a fit for a guy that's already a lightning rod anyway, at a program that has not been, you know, people are looking for a reason to jump on Pruitt's butt.
Right.
You know, he brings it on a little
How about Willie Taggart? Could he go to Florida State?
I think that would be a better thing. I think Taggart, you know, I don't know how long Taggart's going to be there, but you know, Freeze got to kind of take whoever's going to take him.
Well, Taggart's there 3 years unless he just really does another.
And I can't imagine they'll be that bad next
year. The problem Auburn's got, Gus Malzahn, they're not going to let him have a multi-year contract with a guy. So I think he's out. His daughter goes to school at Auburn. He's got a house at Auburn he owns.
Yeah, but wasn't there a lot of talk that the money was not going to be a problem if they decided to do something this year? How much does it drop off next year?
$23 million.
Well, that's $10 million. That's a $9 million difference. That's a lot of money. You know, you can suck it up for, and you know, and that's things. What is Gus good for? Just when you think he's out, he pulls you back in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I told somebody
he knows that he can start fresh at quarterback. He knows who he's not going to have.
Right.
So just clear the slate and move on.
I told somebody that you know, I don't know what I mean. 7-5 is going to end up 7-6. I think Purdue's going to beat him. Maybe not in the Music City Bowl, but you know, next year the guy will go 11-2.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean, every time he's had his back to the wall, pulled the rabbit out of his hat.
Right. But now
I think I would love to see Hugh Freeze at Auburn as the offensive coordinator. I think the guy is a really good offensive coach.
I said that about Bobby Petrino, and he's unemployed too.
Well, but you can't argue with Bobby Petrino.
I think he's phenomenally overrated.
Well, maybe his whole career he's put up offensive numbers.
I'll give him that. I like the fact that he he wasn't so narrow-minded in what he was going to do. He was, you know, there's some guys that we'll try it.
I've never liked him because he never will recruit a defense, and I don't give a damn how good your offense is. At some point you've got to put a good defense on the field too.
And also you can do stuff when you show up and you change something from what they had, and then he leaves by the time everybody starts adjusting.
Right.
You know, he had no stability in his career, and I'm not going to hire somebody that can't keep a job for any period of time, and I'm certainly not going to hire a guy that quits with 3 games left.
Okay, so here's one thing. Who's the team that wanted to hire Hugh Freeze to their staff this year?
I don't know.
Saban. Saban wanted him.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Father Nick's halfway house for weight riding
but
coaches.
What if Alabama gets Hugh Freeze now as offensive coordinator?
Well, that's that would be all right. He can do that because you know you don't take that job unless you can handle it.
And I think he can handle it, and Nick will help him handle it.
And he's not going to be a lightning rod like he would be at Tennessee.
But the greatest thing...
That's a better fit.
Right.
And obviously, Nick is as controlling as everybody thinks he is. You know, look at the people he's hired, and he's let them do their job. And they've all succeeded. They've all succeeded.
I mean, listen, if you can handle, just from a personality standpoint, it's because they're light years away from each other. But if Nick Saban can handle Lane Kiffin, Hugh Freeze is a choir boy.
Well,
there's no comparison, not personality-wise.
Right. And
and we all used to think he was a choir boy.
Yes, we did. Praise
the
God.
prodigal son returns.
Praise
like
God.
poor lost sheep. Watch it.
Praise God.
Bless you, son. Hugh. We got, it's Nick's monastery.
Jeez.
But the greatest thing of the week was Butch Jones has a SEC championship ring now. His was inscribed Champions of Life.
Hey.
Hey, look, they fired Tater Tot at Akron. Could he go there? Butch Jones?
Well, yeah. He was at Cincinnati. He was at Cincinnati before.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Tater Tot Stone come home.
And he's had a year off, and I think coaches learn a lot when they take a year off from being a head coach, whether they take the time off or whether they're in a non-head coaching position.
But now
he was at Alabama, so
yeah, he learned the process. I think sometimes coming to the SEC is just a different animal than going to the MAC or whatever else.
It is. If you didn't kind of grow up in it a little bit or have a couple years in it, because remember when he came to the Touchdown Club, he left and he had converters. You know, it was his first year, and he seemed to have that personality of a normal human being.
This guy's going to do well.
You thought, you know what? I'm a Georgia guy, but I like him. I can handle Tennessee a little bit because of him.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. He just lost his mind.
It was a damn trash can.
You know, yeah. Well, you saw Jim McElwain took the Central Michigan job.
Really?
Yeah. So there's there's a reason to take a year off, and I think everybody that comes back after a year wishes they'd have done that year earlier.
Okay, so it's getting close to my bedtime,
yes,
so we're going to wrap it up on a Thursday night. So tell us what's going on at Central Georgia Sports Report.
We're getting geared up for basketball. I know there's a big one Monday night at Warner Robins with Wilkinson County showing up. They moved that game from Tuesday to Monday. Warner Robins is good again.
Because of the football playoffs.
Ups and Lee's won 69 in a row now.
Wow.
They're going to lose this year. They just don't have the same, you know, they have talent. They're only, you know, they're going to lose 2 maybe, but they're good. You know, I think Dublin's off to a little bit of a slow start. You know, it's just interesting to see when, you know, Warner Robins gets better because they have some basketball players on a football team.
Right.
Northside's got some. Northside's still kind of a middling program, and you know Peach County's been up and more down than up for a while, and I know they're going to have a couple.
Westside had a big game the other night.
Yeah, they beat Southwest handily. Westside's going to take a little bit of a while to get going.
Almost doubled them up.
Yeah.
They get 83 points.
Yeah, it was like 80 something to 40 something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it's almost, you really have to almost wait till football's over for everybody to get their players in for a couple weeks to get into the continuity of because you got games canceled. You know, people kind of postpone games early in the season until their players get there.
Right.
And they're all, they got some key players. So it's but I'm last year around here you had Upson Lee, Wilkins County, and Warner Robins, and there's no reason to think that they'll be in that state championship hunt again. It's just some of the other guys.
It's back in Macon.
Everybody's in Macon.
Everybody's in Macon.
Yeah. See, I like that. Last year when I walked into the Coliseum, and it was the first time after they'd done everything. It was almost like walking into a different facility.
Right.
And just the feeling, it just looked good. It felt better. It was well done. They had a light show for the introductions. I mean, it was what it was supposed to be, 15, 20 years ago. There was a group of people, GHSA people, meaning ADs and stuff like that. They went up to Indiana and you don't have to go up there to understand how to do it right. You know, there's still a lot of things they need. The GHSA still needs a seminar from a lot of people out here in the in the populace.
Oh boy, don't get me started.
To talk with them about stuff. But but they finally did it. You know, and it was a much better thing.
Well, they made Macon get punished for a little bit.
Well, by screwing up, they got everything better.
Right.
Really, it was
learning
that
from your
was
mistakes.
and that was fine. I knew that was going to happen. They were, you know, and nobody ever thinks to look at the baskets. That was not the first time in this country that that's happened.
No.
You know, and it made it got.
But somebody got beat, and somebody got mad, and somebody took a notice.
No, I think a number of people took a notice. I mean, I know I've kind of realized it after some games. Said, well, that does make sense now.
Right.
But also there was a guy that was kind of their go-to guy that was a basketball guy, and he took care of everything. So when you lose somebody that's done something for 20 years, and you're bringing in some new people that have to oversee stuff, what is second nature to somebody isn't second nature to somebody else.
They can get lost in
yeah.
Two details and it made a difference.
Yeah, a guy's not going to say do this because he thinks about it and doesn't even write it down.
Right.
So, but everything about it, I mean, you know, people can make their jokes, but it was much, just a really good. They have the end zone seats now, so it's more, you know, there's more atmosphere there. You know, you're near people, and I'm you know, and I like having everybody here. You know, anytime you can get the clinched Atlanta people outside of the perimeter and south of the equator, aka 20.
Right.
I think it's a good thing. Remind them that there are about 7 million other people in the state that aren't in the.
They have to see it to believe it because they don't believe it.
That's right.
All right, tell everybody how to get in touch with you, watch you, and follow you.
Well, Thursday's on here at the.
Yeah, exactly. Great. And you have a standing slot over the next couple of weeks as we get through NCAA and high school football.
Next week they'll be playing it next Thursday. A lot to talk about.
Yep, absolutely.
And they're all in GPB, which means you can also mute it. Oh. Lord have mercy.
Carry on.
But they'll. That's good, and, you know. And then, and then getting gearing into bowl season, and then we'll have probably a tech coach to talk about too. But CentralGASports.com.
All right. Michael Lau, CentralGASports.com. Follow you on Facebook. It's the same on Facebook, Central Georgia Sports Report.
The Sports Report, I think it is.
Okay, on Facebook.
And Twitter's at Central GA Sports.
And you twat many times a day.
Yeah, not as much as some people. Holy crap.
Oh,
just enough to keep you informed.
I'm telling you, it's the pot calling the kettle black.
No. Mine's irrelevant. Mine's not a video of somebody dancing.
I got you. We don't get the dancing bears.
No, just trying to give out information, keep people informed.
Just keep you informed. All right, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up from Zoner's Pizza on a Thursday night. Everybody have a great weekend. Don't forget Tuesday and Wednesday, the high school football state championship games, and we'll talk about it next Thursday night. That's going to do it. We're going to wrap it up from here. Have a good weekend, everybody. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.
Oh my, what a pizza pie! Take one bite and you'll say it too. In fact, take one bite of anything they cook at Zoner's Pizza Joint and they've got you. You will immediately taste the difference because they make their dough daily, use only the finest cheese and top quality meats. Zoner's even cuts their vegetables fresh daily. Combine all that on a crisp crust taste of a stone oven, and in between bites, you'll say, oh my, what a pizza pie! Zoner's Pizza Joint, Forsyth Road, Macon, and Houston Lake Road, Warner Robins.